You know, we get this from most of our clients. Everybody wants to train like an athlete. In when I say most of our clients, it's their version of an athlete. But they buy the shoes, the supplements, the fancy gear. But here's the secret. Elite athletes don't just train harder. They recover smarter. And the center of that recovery is sleep. Today we're going to talk about how sleep can transform your health, your energy, and your performance, and how you can start sleeping like an athlete, even if you're juggling work, kids, and life, today on the Personalized Fitness Podcast. Welcome to the Personalized Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Garrett Williamson, president of Personalized Fitness. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoy this show, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, you can always reach us at area code 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE, or online at personaledgefitness.com. You can also find us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram at Personalized Fitness. If you would like to reach out to me, love to take your emails. I'm at Garrett, Garrett, Garrett at personaledgefitness.com. Hit me up on X at Team PE. Now let's talk about why sleep may be the most underrated performance enhancer that you're not using. When people ask athletes what separates the great from the good, most people expect an answer about training hours or grit. But research shows the number one difference maker is recovery. And the cornerstone of recovery is sleep. LeBron James reportedly sleeps 12 hours a night. Roger Federer, also close to 12. Even Tom Brady, who played at the top of the NFL into his mid-40s, has been vocal about prioritizing sleep routines as a part of his success. This goes back even further. Pete Sampras was notorious for making sure that the room that he was staying in was absolute blacked out. I mean, he would actually carry electrical tape with him in case there was a clock radio that had a red dot on it, just to let you know the power was on, and he would tape over it because sleep was so important to him. But why? Why is sleep so important? Because during sleep, your body repairs muscles. It consolidates memory, regulates hormones, and resets your immune system. If you miss sleep, you miss recovery. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't understand about exercise. And exercise, actually what we're doing in a fitness facility is we are actually breaking down muscle tissue. We're not building anything. We're just breaking it down. We're breaking it down because we know the body will recover. We know the body will heal itself. You actually know this. You know that if you cut your arm, put some Neosporin on it, Band-Aid on it, pretty soon it's going to repair. It's going to heal itself. Your body does this outside and inside. And so the soreness that you feel, the burn that you feel when you're lifting weights or even stretching is actually lactic acid being released because you're tearing muscles. That lactic acid dissipates within 25 to 30 seconds, and the soreness that you feel the next day is actually the repair process. And the best place to repair is during sleep. And this is not just athletes. Studies published in the Journal of Sleep Research show that even modest sleep deprivation, cutting just 1 to 2 hours off your nightly total, reduces reaction time, strength, and cognitive performance the next day. Another study in the magazine Nature linked poor sleep to increased risk of obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. So if you're busy, and I know most of you are, sleep isn't a luxury. It's the foundation for everything else. So how do you sleep like an athlete? Well, first and foremost, consistency is king. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Your body loves rhythm. And light is your friend and your enemy. Expose yourself to natural light in the morning. Cut off bright screens 60 minutes before bed. Too many of us are notorious for staying on our phone, looking at our phone right before we go to sleep. Need to shut that off. Cool it down. Researchers show a slightly cooler bedroom around, well, you can pick your own temperatures, but 65 to 68 degrees promotes deeper sleep. And you want a caffeine curfew. And hello, I'm Garrett. I'm a caffeineaholic. But if you're still sipping coffee at 4 p.m., don't expect deep sleep. Cut caffeine 6 to 8 hours before bed. You want to have a wind down routine. Athletes don't just collapse into bed. They stretch, breathe, journal, or read, signaling the brain it's time to rest. The good news, you don't have to log 12 hours like Federer. Most adults thrive on 7 to 9 hours if it's quality. The difference is in the preparation. Quick reminder, if you're enjoying this podcast, hit like, share, and follow us. Somebody you may know may be struggling with energy and not realizing sleep is the missing link. Now let's tie this back to my favorite topic, which is the lie of age. Too many people blame fatigue on age. They say, I'm just getting older, but often what they're really experiencing is chronic sleep debt. When we improve their sleep, suddenly their workouts feel easier. Their mood lifts and their energy skyrockets. Sleep has nothing to do with age. It's about choices. And like exercise, sleep is a skill that you can train at any time. At Personalized Fitness, I've seen clients in their 70s and 80s transform simply by adjusting their bedtime habits. They didn't suddenly become younger. They became better at recovery, and that's what allowed them to thrive. Not just survive, not just get by, but to thrive. So if you want to perform like an athlete or simply live with more energy, focus, and basically joy, don't just train harder, sleep smarter. So here's your challenge. Pick just one athlete sleep habit and start tonight. Maybe it's cutting screens an hour earlier, just cooling your room, or finally setting a bedtime alarm instead of just a morning alarm. Take one of those and just build from there. When you treat sleep like part of your training, your health, performance, and outlook will change dramatically. It's all in the recovery. And of course, I had to bring up lie of age and how this ties into that. But this is one of those things that fall into the lifestyle category that we do wrong, that actually causes damage to our body that we attribute with time passing on a calendar. Well, like I said earlier, you can turn that around at any time. Too many of seniors that I do consults with tell me, well, I'm older, so I don't sleep well. I have to get up in the middle of the night and all this. Not true. You don't have to live that way. And by the way, I've talked about this in my water talk several times. If you're having to get up in the middle of the night because you've got to go to the restroom, well, you're most likely not taking in enough water during the day. I know that seems like the opposite, but we're training our bladder to be able to go several hours, and so we train our bladder by actually increasing its volume, increasing water intake. We'll do that slowly over time. But even though you may be in that rut of low sleep, you can turn it around. You can turn it around whenever. So don't let whatever you're experiencing right now dictate what your future is going to look like. Because like I say, you can change it at any time. Realizing that sleep is actually an exercise. It is actually part of your training program. And by making those simple changes to your sleep can not only change your life, change your energy level, change your fitness, and of course, happens to be one more way we help you reach your level of wellness. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time.